All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome for another day at the Art of Manifesting Money. How to attract abundance, create consistent money flow, and achieve financial freedom. Today we have the wonderful Tracy Gaudet, and we wanted to talk to her today, and we're so excited to have her here with us. And we want to hear your journey, Tracy. What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on. My journey, I'm definitely one to speak about getting over money blocks because I have had lots and lots of them.
We have, haven't we?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it doesn't even, what I'm noticing with a lot of my clients too is it's not necessarily, if you grow up poor, you have a lot of money blocks. You can grow up in any type of circumstance, and the money blocks can still show up in a lot of different ways.
I've noticed that. And, whenever you're focused on one thing, focused on money blocks or focused on, whatever it is, sometimes you can either get out of that and push it through, or if you don't do what you need to do inside, you can't get rid of it.
Absolutely, and that's what I say. I say blocks will always keep coming up until we learn the lesson and we deal with it, because they're good for that. They'll keep coming up in lots of different ways.
Well, tell us what you're working on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, actually, just shortly after I'm done with this, I am working on a presentation specifically about money mindset for a live group, which is something new to me, so that's something new for me to get over blocks on. But really specifically, what I focus on in my money mindset work is self-worth, which is, I think, why money blocks are across the board, no matter, what you're raised with, wherever you're born at, is if you have self-worth blocks, it shows up as money blocks a lot of the time.
Wow. And I've experienced that in my life, and it's taken, years to figure out what I needed to do in order to become more aware of that. And if I wouldn't have started working on my internal self, I would never have been able to get over the hump, per se.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like a mystery piece for a lot of people, too. Just being like, okay, and why can't I get to this next financial level? Or, what am I doing wrong is kind of what pops into a lot of people's heads, where a lot of the times we're doing nothing wrong. A lot of the times we are doing the exact right thing and we're moving towards it, but because, it doesn't happen instantly and, divine timing, things happen at the perfect time for us, even though we can't see it in kind of like the small picture. That makes our self-worth go down even a little bit further, where we're like, what are we doing wrong? It must be me. So it's kind of a cycle where you have to just put the brakes on and stop it and realize, what is it within myself? How am I not supporting my own self so that I can feel, that success and feel that worthiness inside first so that it shows up on the outside?
I love it. I love it, because this is the reason why we're here today. We're here to shine some light on the stuff that it took us a long time to figure out.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I'll just speak a little bit about my own personal journey.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, getting over self-worth blocks, the way that it kind of showed up for money. But I mean, some of the blocks that I've gotten over, and I don't want to put too much emphasis on blocks, because then we can sometimes spiral out of control and be like, oh, I have so many blocks, and that creates a new block, and on and on it goes. But just some of the events in my life that affected my money, such as, for example, one that I worked on really recently was when I was 4 years old. So this is, this goes back pretty far. When I was 4 years old, and my sister was born. So I had this limiting belief in my system that I wasn't enough. I wasn't enough to make my parents happy at this time, right? So these are just little things that get ingrained in our heads where we don't think about it until we take time to really reflect, and then we can heal that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I would have never known that I could have had so many different areas in my life growing up, being the fourth child. You just kind of take on some of these beliefs.
Absolutely, and most of the time you don't notice it, and most of the time too, it wouldn't be an event that would be a big deal to us now in our life, but through the eyes of a child, it's totally different, and it's really a big deal for us back then. So that's how it stays with us until we can go back and examine it and heal it.
Correct, and we have a lot of different things that we can discuss today, and you have a couple of courses, and really whenever you talk about your courses, it does fall into play with the spiritual journey, the connection, the mindset, and manifestation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us about these courses.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, it's kind of varied across the board where I focus, there's a few main areas that I really focus on, but they all go hand in hand with manifesting. So your intuition, which is something that I'm really passionate about, and especially women that might think that they're not the type of person that are intuitive, where I'm like, whoa, just wait. Yes, you are. Everybody is. It just takes a little practice. So developing intuition is a huge part of it. And the way that plays a role in manifesting is that whenever kind of you feel confused and things like that, when you've developed your intuition, it just gives you that confidence and that self-worth and that clarity of knowing what your next step is. So that's why I teach intuition a lot, and I'm pretty passionate about that. And then also the money mindset. So that's a big part of it. But again, the money mindset focuses a lot on self-worth and what you feel about yourself. And then just manifesting in general, I do have a free manifesting course as well. So a lot what I focus on that is many people know about, the law of attraction and the basics, how it works, and your thoughts and feelings affect what you attract to you. So my kind of spin on that is noticing the resistance that comes up as well. So not just noticing the good, being okay with noticing the bad that comes up, because it's coming up for a reason, and that reason is because it wants your attention, it wants you to learn the lesson, and then it wants you to clear it so you can move on. So that's my big focus in pretty much all of my courses, is noticing that resistance and getting rid of it, and then focusing on the positive to really build it up.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I really love that.
Seems to work.
Well, I've been on a spiritual journey for years, but until a couple years ago, until I started focusing and practicing on releasing different blocks and getting more in tune with me inside and doing my chakra work and my the clearings and getting aligned with my intuition.
Yes.
That's when everything started opening up, and it was just like, why haven't I known this all these years?
Yeah, it's magical.
It is magical, and I think that that's one reason why I was, drawn to you. Mm-hmm. Also, why things just kind of work the way they do in my life, and they fall in place. And I just want everybody to know that they can do it too.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something that some people, are born lucky or anything like that. It's you create that yourself, and that's my newest course that I'm working on, Spiritual Journey. That's what a lot of it is. It's a lot about kind of looking within and getting to know yourself, which might sound a little bit weird, but a lot of people don't really know what they want, or, don't really know what their strengths are, so don't really know how to go for what they want. So it's really important to get to know yourself on that level and get to know what your relationship is to the divine, and maybe deepen that, because, like you said, it makes everything more magical when you start living that way.
Well, yes, and I thought it sounded weird at first, too, but I needed something, and I really didn't care at that point. I just jumped in and thought, well, I'm going to start.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I did.
That's the way to do it.
Exactly, and it opened up so many doors, and it made it a lot easier, where I was not working 24/7 and trying to figure out, it just fell in place.
Yes. And see, that's the magic of it, because when you prioritize, say you prioritize 30 minutes a day or something like that for your personal growth and, your spiritual development, where if you're really busy, you might say, I don't have that 30 minutes. Like, I just don't have it. Every space is filled up. But whenever you make that time for it, it's amazing how it makes even more time in your calendar because, things can get done faster, or opportunities can come up easier, or the right people come to you at the right time. It just, all the synchronicities start when you start to pay attention to your own needs.
Right, and they always say, if it's not written down in your calendar, it's not going to happen.
Exactly. So write this personal development, this mindset time in your calendar definitely right away.
Oh, yeah, that's totally what I have started. This year I said, I'm going to start doing that, because that was another thing. It's, you just, things start coming up, and you're like, okay, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start working on that. And do you focus a lot on the energy alignment with chakras at all?
I do. I have one course really specifically so it's an 8-week course. It focuses on each of the 7 major chakras. And then the 8th week is kind of really all about manifesting. That's my Release to Allow Manifesting course. But I focus on chakras. In most of my courses, I at least touch on it because I really love the subject. But I am a certified chakra life force energy healer. So chakras are a big part of my energy healing that I do as well.
That is awesome. I like that. I have started incorporating that into my practices and learning more about it, because it's just something that's so interesting to me. And now, once you start touching on the different energy centers that are out of alignment, I find that I open up a lot more, I guess, to the nitty-gritty of what really is wrong. Like, I never would have thought that, this is out of line, so this part of my life should be going this way. Or once I get this part of my energy center or my chakra back in alignment, this certain section in my life is going to, start straightening up on this way. And it's kind of hard to explain if you don't actually, read into it.
Yeah.
But you are the specialist, so you know more about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up too, because just as you were kind of talking about it, kind of what was coming into my mind is each chakra is really connected to how you manifest money as well. So, I mean, it's not just any one particular chakra. Each one puts in kind of its own little spin onto either accepting money or repelling it. So, getting your chakras lined up and getting them balanced and kind of paying attention to each one is really valuable. And I personally am in love with the chakra system because I like everything that's organized. So it was a really good fit for me, because you can see it governs, specific areas of your body for each chakra and specific emotional centers as well. So it's really, really cool how they play into things.
Right. And I like it as well, since I'm learning about it, and it's really actually, it's working. At first I thought it was weird, but it hasn't. It didn't turn out to be, because it's changing things in my life, and I never even knew.
And that's how I feel about most things that end up being some of my favorite things. Is they're weird at first, and then I love them.
Yeah. And it's just not the norm, and that's why, people think they are a little different. But you know what? Just let your hair down and go dive in, get your feet wet. Just, if it works for you, it works for you. And don't worry about what anybody else says.
That's what I say, too. And I say, even if, as my clients are seeing results and this and that, I'm like, you know what? I don't even care if it's a placebo or what it is. If it's working for you, then it's still working. So that's all that matters.
Yes. And tell our audience today about what free gift they're going to be getting and little bonus that you're offering today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my Manifesting Magic mini course. So it's just a quick 7-day course, and you get 3 video lessons. So again, this goes a lot into my vision of manifesting. So what specifically that means. So yes, you are using the principles that most people know about the law of attraction, but it also teaches you how to find your blocks and clear them so that you can really draw this stuff to you. So that is my free gift, and I hope you take advantage of it because it's a lot of fun.
What social media sections are you on today?
Oh, I'm all over the place. My favorite one, though, by far is my Facebook group, the Inspiration Club, because it's really interactive, and I'm there, and I'm giving readings as often as I can, and it's just a really good place to interact. So that's my favorite social media one.
Great. So they can find you, follow you, message you, and find more details about what you're offering, because it is so amazing what you're doing. You're spreading the word, and it's just so interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. And the most important thing about all that is I'm having so much fun doing it. My clients have fun with it, and everybody sees the results. So, I mean, it's win-win-win.
Oh, yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Tracy, thank you so much for coming on board today and sharing about your journey and just getting the word out. Is there anything else you'd like to add on what you're working on, or you just tell everybody to stop by and you'd love to chat?
Yeah, for sure. Stop by my website, just tracygaudet.com, or my Facebook page. You can get to it from my website as well. And, I'd love to hear from you and, what your experience is, or if there's anything in particular you're coming up against. I'm always happy to make videos or blog posts or anything at all that's going to help you out. So connect with me because that's my favorite.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to end our session today, and I want to thank you again for coming.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Anna.
Oh, no problem.